if you're looking to submit spouse open work permit, then you have to be more aware of the documentation requirement. Sometimes those documents are not even indicated or mentioned on the IRCC website, and this is where the problems are now coming. A refusal just landed on my desk today of a client who was doing a consultation with me, and this one I haven't seen before, got me in a bit of a tizzy as well. Here, the principal spouse, who is the person who is living in Canada and has a work permit, postgraduate work permit, this person was looking to sponsor or rather apply for an open work permit, spouse open work permit for his spouse who was outside Canada. Now, the person who is working in Canada, that person is working in tier 1 category, okay? But IRCC has refused the spouse open work permit, stating that the principal spouse who's in Canada did not provide a copy of their bachelor's degree, and therefore IRCC cannot establish whether this person's employment requirements have been met or not, and whether this person is actually working in that job and is even qualified to work in this job. What is wrong with you, IRCC? I mean, come on. Nowhere in your program guidelines, nowhere on your website, nowhere on the document checklist, nowhere in the regulations, nowhere in the act does it say that this criteria also needs to be met. This is another headache that you now have to be also aware of. So what it basically means is, for example, if you are the principal spouse in Canada, when you have identified your NOC code and you have identified that you are eligible for spouse open work permit, then scroll down on that NOC code, you will find employer requirements. Read the employer requirements and then ensure that you qualify as per that and provide those documentation, which could be your educational degree, your certificates, your license, etc., whatever that might be. Make sure you also add that as part of your documentation. Also, another thing here is that if you are providing your documentation, so then you will now need to provide your employment reference letter, which must list down your roles and responsibilities. You must provide your pay stubs. You must provide your education documents, which also are as per the employment requirements on the NOC code. And very importantly, absolutely include the bank statements or the copies of the check that shows that you were actually paid while you were working. Now, this is another one of those reasons which has been a very weird one, which I've seen. I think last week somebody got a refusal saying IRCC does not believe that he got paid because though he has a pay stub, there was no bank statement to show that the salary was received. So IRCC is coming up with all kinds of ridiculous reasons to refuse your application. But the only way you can trump this is if you are more informed, if you are preparing your application in a manner. I mean, if I was handling this application, I probably would have gotten it refused as well, because how am I supposed to dream of that IRCC now wants to get education documents even of the principal spouse? So a lot of us are also getting stumped with these requirements, but it is very clear. IRCC has a mandate. This is 3.0 version. They have a mandate that they have to refuse as many applications as possible. And the only thing you can do is make sure you pray and you hope that nothing goes wrong in your application, but definitely provide all the documentation that you can think of. Nowadays, more is less. So whatever documentation you have, whatever you can think of, anything extras, add it. It will only help your application.